Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a guitar shootout against two very budget friendly guitar brands. Over here we have the Harley Benton. This is the Fusion HHT model. Here we have the Steve Brown Sound SBS VS200. It's an offering from Steve Brown Sound in collaboration with GuitarFetish.com. So we're going to find out who's the king of the budget guitars here on YouTube these days. Let's get into it. Up first, we have the Harley Benton Fusion T HH. Features a roasted maple neck and fretboard. Has locking tuners, stainless steel frets, dual string trees, a Wilkinson trim, a push-pull pot, split the coils, one volume, three-way selector, and a dual set of Roswell humbuckers. On the back, we have a nice cutaway, shaved heel, 22 frets, spoke adjustment truss rod. Up next, we have the SBS VS200 offset. This is in Artic White, features a relic finish, a Floyd Rose trim, dual Steve Brown pickups, coil splits for the pickups, one volume, three-way selector. Volume also has a treble bleed on it. We have 22 frets. Now these are small like frets, so if you guys like larger frets or used to larger frets, you're probably not going to like this one because these frets are pretty small. It's kind of hard to play, especially for me. I'm used to LTD, Schecter, and Dean's and similar metal guitar brands. That they pretty much have train tracks for frets. Roasted maple neck and fretboard on this one also. Non-branded tuners. We also have a nice shaved heel. There's really no cutaway on this one like there is on the Harley Benton. Spoke adjustment truss rod, 22 frets, and the neck profile is very similar to the Harley Benton. Here's a side-by-side shot comparison. As you can see, the SBS is a slightly longer guitar, obviously because of the body shape. Here's a side-by-side shot comparison of the headstocks. Obviously the SBS is more Strat style and the Harley Benton Fusion is more Tele style. You can also see the flame on these necks. The flame is more noticeable on the SBS. They claim the SBS is roasted, but the Harley Benton's much darker, so I'm not sure. Maybe they both are. Maybe it's just the pieces of wood they got. Here's a back shot comparison. You see those neck heels are pretty much identical. On the tuners on the SBS, as I was tuning, it seemed like you'd have to make about a quarter turn to a half a turn before they'd even kick in and start tuning. But once they caught, they would tune pretty good. Now the Harley Benton, just smooth, didn't have no trouble with those, so Harley Benton definitely has the better tuners of the two. Upper fret access is about the same. Harley Benton may be a little bit more comfortable due to these cutouts. But this lower horn on this one is lower than that one, so I would say about the same, really, honestly. You know, a lot of people were concerned about the quality of the trims on these. Both of the trims have steel blocks, and both of them are made out of good metal, so these are quality trims on these. Even though they're going for a different style trim, I don't think anybody would have a problem out of them as far as quality-wise of them breaking. They don't seem to have any of that old pot metal stuff as part of their components, so these trims here should last a while. Both operate pretty smooth. Let's look at the 12th fret, guys. We'll try to capture the size difference of the fret wire if the camera will show it. That's the Harley Benton. That's the SBS. Now you can see that's almost non-existent compared to the Harley Benton. How much taller that is. If you're used to vintage style guitars that have the smaller fret wire, then you'll like the SBS. If you're more of a modern player and prefer the larger frets, you better go with the Harley Benton because the SBS they're about like a fretless wonder to me. Now, as far as how the components feel, both these have good pots. I've opened the Harley Benton up and it actually has a Korean pot. All the knobs turn smooth, feel good. On this Harley Benton, the switch, it's just a El Cheapo, just plastic style switch. That's really the cheapest thing on this Harley Benton, this switch. That'd be one thing I would replace, definitely. But I mean, it works fine. I mean, it's just a cheaper component. But that's really the cheapest thing on this Harley Benton that I could find is this switch. Everything else is pretty nice. The quality of the pots on this one feels good. Feels good and turns smooth. I believe there's the same type of switch, feels like. Now this push-pull on this one feels excellent quality. I mean, this feels real nice. This one over here feels good too. But this one here, it has a little bit more resistance to it. It just feels a little bit nicer. This Harley Benton has the more expensive knobs. They have the Allen key. It locks them on the pot shaft. And on these just won't just push on. So these are cheaper knobs than these are. Now let's do a tone comparison. What'd you guys think? Who won out? The Harley Benton or the SBS VS200 offset? Now obviously there's some things to consider before you purchase either one of these. Are you a Floyd Rose type person? Or are you a more traditional type? Now, as far as quality, guys, both of these guitars are pretty good quality, especially at this price point. This one's a little bit more expensive. This comes in at $379.99 from GuitarFetish.com. And this one I purchased from Harley Benton's Reverb store, and it was $359. So they're right at the same price point. They're pretty similar feature-wise. Both have dual humbuckers. Both have the coil splits, three-way selector. Both have trim systems. But obviously this is more a traditional style trim, and this one is the Floyd Rose trim. Now, it's my personal preference. I'm going with the Harley Benton on this one, guys. There's just too many things against this one personally for me. One was the small fret wire. Just could not get used to that. I'm used to Schecters and LTDs, stuff similar to that. I mean, they have literally train tracks for fret wire. That's more what I'm used to as a metal player. So this one just really didn't do it for me. And the tuners, these tuners are fine. When I first started tuning them, you'd have to give them like a quarter of a turn before like they would catch to actually start working. So these tuners are kind of cheap on these. And also the neck shape, it's fine if you're used to more traditional Fender style necks. Just a little bit too rounded for me, for my personal taste. If that's something you like, then I'd recommend this guitar. As far as fret access on both, excellent. The pickups just really didn't speak to me in this one, which I mean, that's fine. I would have changed them. I was going to change them out anyway, but I'm not planning on keeping this one. I'm actually going to return this one. I've already spoken to them and I'm returning it at my cost. It is what it is, but that's fine. I got to try it out, and I was happy to get to try it out. That's about all I got to say on that one. A couple reasons why I chose the Harley Benton. One was the tuners. Just better quality tuners than on this one. I mean, they turn smooth and tune great and hold tune great. You seen in the tone demo, I abused the crap out of this whammy, and it stayed in tune. This one, it didn't stay in tune. The low E just kept going out of tune, and this is a lock and nut. Another reason I chose the Harley Benton over the SBS is the frets. This one has some, I believe these are medium jumbo frets, so this is more like what I'm used to. And these are stainless steel. And also, I have these set at about the same action, and I didn't have any fret buzz on the Harley Benton. And on this one, I was getting buzz, especially on the 22nd fret. I mean, you can tell it's raised up a little bit, so it's buzzing pretty bad down there. And also, I was getting a little bit of buzz up through here on this one. But on Harley Benton, I wasn't getting any buzz at all so far. One thing I will add on this Harley Benton, guys, if you say get this one, I did have to go and polish all these frets up. They must have leveled them at the factory, and they didn't polish them back up. I mean, it just was not comfortable to play at all. But once I polished all the frets and the fret ends up a little bit, it's nice playing now. On the SBS, didn't have to do any polishing on the frets. Frets come polished great, so I didn't have any issue with that. Now on the pickups, I'm not really sold on either set. I mean, they're okay for what you're getting, but I would recommend upgrading them in the future to something else. But that's coming from an EMG and Seymour Duncan and Fishman player, so take it what you will. Now, if you're more toward the shredding and metal styles, I'd definitely go with the Harley Benton if you're looking at these. Now, if you're a more traditional player, a lot more traditional style, I would go with the SBS. Either one of these guitars will make good mod platforms if that's something you're into. I will add though, guys, if you're shopping in this price point and you think you're going to get something good as like a Charvel Pro Mod or something similar to that, yeah, you're kind of not. I mean, there's a reason there's a price difference. But that's not to knock either one of these guitars. Both these are great guitars. And with a little setup work and putting your preference of pickups in it, I think either one would be a great guitar. It just depends on what your style and your preferences are. I'm happy to have tried both of these out. As for now, I'm probably going to keep the Harley Benton, but I'm going to send the SBS back because I just could not get along with the neck. I hate to do that, but I just could not get along with the neck and the small fret wire. It just would not get played, and it don't deserve to sit around and not get played. So this needs to go to somebody that's going to play it. Let me know what you guys think. If you watched the video this far, which guitar would you rather have? The Harley Benton Fusion HH or the SBS VS200 offset? Or would you rather have neither? Let me know in the comments below. If you got any comments, questions, I'll be happy to answer them down below. I try to reply to every comment I get. If you like more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Leave the video a like. Helps us in the algorithm. And yeah, I appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.